Hello, I'm Alexander DiPietro,
Hello, my name is Matt Lay.
Hello, I'm Bin Pham.
And I'm Silly.
and today we'll be doing the consumer decision-making process for the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. We'll be covering the 5 steps in the consumer decision-making process. I'll be covering need recognition.
I'll be covering information search.
And for me, evaluation of alternatives.
And finally, I'll be covering the purchase decision as well as the post-purchase behaviour.
First step in the consumer decision-making process is need recognition, where the consumer is stimulated internally or externally as to why they need the product. In this case, the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. Main category being a phone, subcategory being a high-end smartphone. What may trigger the need for the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge is the consumer requires a smartphone or is currently dissatisfied with the current mobile device or smartphone product. The consumer can be exposed to the product internally, such as friends and colleagues who may own a Samsung product, or externally through marketing advertisements such as billboard advertisements or even video advertisements and endorsements. The consumer may also desire to be a first move innovator, being the first to obtain new technology above other consumers. How this product can satisfy the consumer's needs is that it will give them connectivity to social media and the internet, wherever they are, so provided they have Wi-Fi connection. Technology and new features presented in the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, the latest Android app capabilities, and a visually sleek model that may impress fellow colleagues and friends.
This step 2 in information search. Once the need is recognized, consumers seek for information about mobiles before reaching the final decision which satisfy their needs. Consumer can look for information in 2 ways. The first way, internal, means recalling from personal memory. For example, you remember that you have bought a Samsung at Vodafone 2 years ago. This recall can give you information on where you can purchase the product. The second way, external, mean and look for information from external sources. It can be marketing controlled, including advertisement on TVs or social media, the seller's speech, or product display at store. Or it can be non-marketing controlled, for example, advice from friends or family, or reviews of other consumers on the product. And the most effective information comes from personal source or public source that are independent authority because it's more objective than those marketing controlled because they are created by the marketers to advertise for the product. And sometimes consumers don't look for information from both sources. They may buy the Samsung S7H immediately because it has been face mapped recently. And depending on the level of perceived trick, consumer may or may not extend their search for information to assist the decision of purchasing a mobile. Usually, the higher the risk, the more effort put in the information search. Perceived risks are influenced by 4 main factors. The first one is knowledge about the product. If consumers don't have enough understandings on the features of mobile, they may face with functional or financial risk, meaning they have to pay more for the product that does not meet their expectation. And the same risk will happen if consumers have unpleasant experience in product. The next factor is confidence in decision making. If consumers are not confident with their decision-making ability, they may face with psychological risk, meaning they get confused, not knowing which is the best thing for them. And the next factor is interest in the outcome. If consumers are not interested in the product enough, they may face with social risk because they may feel embarrassed in front of others. And after doing the information search, consumers should come up with some other preferable brands.
Step 3, evaluation of alternatives. Once consumer went through their information searching process, they will now make up their evoke set. They will now consider those alternatives among their evoke set by the criteria, both subjective and objective. There are many factors that consumers use to narrow down their choices, and one of that is the function of the product. For example, a good camera. Like Samsung S7 Edge and iPhone 6s Plus, both provide 12 megapixels, but with dual pixel sensor that Samsung provides, make it better on taking quick shots, and its bigger pixel make it better in the dark. Consumers also using cutting ops to narrow down their choices, like battery life. Comparing S7H and S7, They each provide much better life performance. Another criteria would be ranking the attributes, whether they want the cheaper one or higher performance one, or the appearance. For example, the consumer value more of the appearance. They might want to purchase the S7 Edge, as they're much slimmer and lighter than S7 and iPhone 6s Plus. The brand itself can influence consumer decision. The brand needs to build trust, good image, and quality of the brand. Like, for example, the Samsung rival competitor, like Apple, have a really good image. Marketers also influence consumer by framing alternatives. For example, they can build on their strong points, like Samsung S7 Edge has better battery, camera, and appearance. They can build on that and hide their weaknesses, like they have less on storage choice that provide only 32 gigabytes.
Step 4 is the purchasing decision. So basically, after the consumer has evaluated all the possible alternatives and created an inet, and evoke set, they'll eventually come to a decision on what phone they might want to buy. Some factors that may influence their purchasing decision includes loyalty to a particular brand. So Samsung's main competitor, Apple, has a very strong brand following. Another factor is the durability of the product and how well it performs against customer expectations. So the new Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge is dustproof as well as water resistant. Ethical standards is also another important factor. Samsung partners with the New South Wales government and Questacon by providing laptops, smart boards and mobile phones to disadvantaged schools, and this in effect helps make the consumer feel good about purchasing the products. They know some of the money that they're giving to Samsung is helping the community. The opinion of trusted others, so whether that be family, friends, experts or the next door neighbour. The experiences, so what other experiences of the Samsung product, have they been good, have they been bad? Also the purchasing experience. So for example, if you go to a Samsung store, you'll be able to try all the products there and fully immerse yourself in the whole of the Samsung brand, as well as having customer support and all that type of thing. And that also is a major contributing factor to the purchasing decision. Another one is value for money. So the Samsung is slightly more expensive. However, the increased price signals to the customer that it's of higher value. And another factor that may influence is religious beliefs and values. A particular study found that religious influences play a strong impact on people's minds in making a purchase. The final step is step 5, which is the post-purchase behaviour. When buying a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, you'll notice it is a very high risk. So it is important to assure the customers that they've made the right decision. Some ways that you could do this is by having a warranty. Samsung has a 14-day change of mind policy as well as a 2-year warranty, which helps the consumer feel confident in their purchase. Another example is Samsung's constant advertising of the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge on billboards and on the internet to help also reinforce this. However, some areas where the customer may be dissatisfied includes the product not meeting their expectations or it posing a threat to their safety and well-being. This is very important to know because there is a very strong correlation between customer satisfaction and a consumer's willingness to spend in the future, as well as there's another major strong relationship between customer satisfaction and the company's overall bottom line.
In conclusion, we found that the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge implements a good mix in this consumer decision-making process, and that we recommend that they make sure they deliver a quality product to the consumer, and that the brand as Samsung should aim to create a cult following much like Apple, and that marketers should avoid information overload and ensure that purchasers have a positive post-purchase experience.
Thank you.